Okay, I'm going to walk you through using PaperRater. This is a pretty good website for checking basic word choice, spelling, that sort of thing. Not always the end all. It does not catch everything. It is a machine, so you will need to go back and do some basic proofreading. Go into your short story assignment and click on PaperRater. You can also use this for your essay assignments. You'll have a new teacher code for each one. But for today, go ahead and click on the copy of the instructions, and the link that you're going to go to is right here at the top. You have to use this link. If you don't, you won't be able to submit your paper to me, which is required. So you come down here, click on the link, open up your new tab. Now you're going to come here and click on the gold button to use premium. There's a lot of advertising on this site, guys, so you're going to have to scroll past mess like this, scroll down to analyze your paper, and then come over, open up a new tab with your paper in it, highlight it, and copy, and then come back to Paper Checker and Control V to paste it in. You're going to have to come down here, choose 8th grade. The type of paper you're submitting, this time we're doing a short story. We always do plagiarism detection. And click I have read the terms of service. Then you're going to skip past the ads down to Get Report. This is the button that's going to actually have PaperRater do some checking for you. So go ahead and click that. And it's going to take a minute or two. The more of us that are using it at the same time, the longer it takes. Okay, it's going to check your grammar. It's going to check some style issues. Word choice. Okay, now your essay is going to show up, or your short story is going to show up over here. This box over here, guys, is important. You go through each of these individually, and it's going to give you suggestions. I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but first, once you've gone through each of these, then you're going to come down here, and you're going to go to e-submission, and you're going to submit it. Make sure you do this. This is how it gets to me. You need to type in your name and your email address. And then the teacher code. The teacher code is back here on the instructions that I gave you. It's different for every assignment we do. You click on that and put it there. Now, guys, make sure you put in your email address. I know it says optional, but every once in a while, students will send this to me and it won't get to me. And if that happens, if you've put in your email address, you'll have a copy of what comes to me. So if I say, hey, you didn't put this through PaperRater, I can't grade it yet, and you say, oh, wait, yes, I did, pull up your email, you can share that email with me, and that proves that you did it. So make sure you put your email address in here. Now, before you get to this step, the whole point of using PaperRater is to use these buttons right here. Okay, the first one, plagiarism detection, basically tells you it appears to be original or it doesn't. Guys, notice it comes up with websites that have some matching text. Now, for this one, they've used some cliches, they've used some fairly common phrases. That's why it's showing these. It's 93% original. That doesn't mean they copied it. It just means that they've got some similar phrasing. I'm going to look at that. So make sure that you are using your own writing and not somebody else's that you've pulled off the internet, because this is going to catch it. It's pretty good at that. Now, spelling suggestions, it's not going to catch everything, and for some reason, it doesn't always underline in red like it says here. Some days it will, some days it won't. Don't know why, it's just a glitch in their system, but they'll show you the error. In this case, the errors that it caught were the word I not being capitalized. So you're going to have to go back and find that. When it does work and it puts them in red, it's easier to find them. In this case, they're both right here. Now, don't make your changes here. You're going to want to make your changes on your original document back in Google Classroom, because that's where I'm going to be actually grading from. So I'm going to find it, the mistake that they pointed out on Paperator. I'm going to come back. I'm going to fix it over here. Come back to Paperator. I fixed my spelling suggestion, so now I'm going to move on to grammar. If the color coding is working, those will show up in green. Again, make your corrections over here on your original. Now, for the rest of these, it's going to give you some suggestions on vocabulary, how to write your sentences, that sort of thing. Now, for word choice, bad phrases, these phrases tend to be overused. They're really common words. It might be a good idea to go back and change some of those. It's giving you a little bit of help. You don't have to, but helps with your vocabulary, might help your score later on. Transitional phrases, they give you some examples down here, ways that it makes it a little bit better if you use those. Okay, sentence length info. All right, they liked the sentence length on this. If you get something that's less than fantastic on this, if you scroll down, they always have this helpful resource down here. If you click on it, it takes you to a short article that gives you some examples. It's a good learning tool, guys, but it doesn't help you if you don't actually click on it and read it. Okay. Readability indices, don't worry about that. Passive voice, okay. There were no passive sentences. That's good. Remember, we've done active and passive. We want more active sentences than passive. If you end up having a lot of passive sentences, it's going to point that out to you. And if you need a little refresher on how to fix those, here's another resource you can go to. Sentence beginning. Okay. This one, I didn't do so well on. I used very basic sentence starters. Doesn't like that very much. So it's going to give me a resource I can go to, and it's going to give me some suggestions. Okay, vocabulary. Didn't like that either. It's got some, it's basically that means I've got lower vocabulary than an 8th grader should be using. So I'm going to want to go back through and I'm going to want to see, are there places where I can improve it? So if I click on the vocabulary builder here, it may give you some help with choosing words that are a little more 8th grade level, less elementary. Okay, now, I did not do my full paper, so it's got a minimum length required not met. Okay, guys, if yours is too short, this is what you're going to see, and it's not going to give you a grade. Most of you, when you put it in there, it's going to be long enough, and it's going to give you a grade. Remember, I told you when we talked about this in class, I don't go by their grade. So, yes, you can look at the grade. If you're curious, go ahead, but mainly keep in mind it might be higher when I grade it, it might be lower when I grade it. This is a machine and it is not going to give you an accurate assessment. It's just going to help you with some of the issues that it can find as a machine. So if you get this, though, minimum length requirement not met, you know it's not long enough. And then you're going to come to the e-submission that we went through later. Now, if you make corrections over here in your original document, you're going to want to go through after you've made all your corrections, copy and paste it again, go back into the main Paperator page. You can't fix it here. You're going to have to get out of this, get all the way out of it, go back in and go through the process again. Copy and paste your whole text here. I'm going to put the whole thing in this time so you guys can see what an actual Well, maybe I'm going to. There we go. Put the whole paper in this time and you guys can see what it looks like, what the grade looks like. All right, this time when I go to grade, because it's long enough this time, it gives me a potential grade. 77C, notice it even tells you the grade is not complete, okay? I will be the one who makes the final decision. Okay, so that's what the grade looks like. You go through, you send the results. Again, make sure you put in your first and last name and your email. And then the code. All right. And then you should get something that looks like this, and you're generally good to go. Okay? Once you've done that, you can go ahead and exit out. Your paper's turned in on PaperRater. You still need to go back here into classwork. You need to go back here, and you'll have to go back to the original assignment. And I can't show you because my screen looks different than yours, but when you come down here and you click View Assignment, it gives you the Turn In button then. So you go ahead and do that, and you're done with your story.